I have a graph of a function and I use different colors, okay, just to differentiate. So if I focus on this part of the function that is on blue, and I ask you, give me a positive interval. Positive interval, you have to give me a domain, okay? The answer must be domain. Must be domain, the x values, okay? Domain for which y is positive, okay? So I look at blue, this portion, all the points in this portion of the function, y is 3, and 3 is positive. So all these points, the y is positive. So what is the interval? The interval will be -8, remember from left to right, and stops at -5. From -8 to -5, I have positive values for y. So my positive interval will be -8, -5. Now, should I include -8 and 5? What would be your answer, yes or no? Look, this point, the beginning of this portion is -8,3, and the end of this portion of the graph is -5,3. 3 is positive for both. So yes, I do have to include -8 and -5. Okay, let's look at my negative interval. Okay, so we saw that the blue portion is positive. All the y coordinates for this portion is positive. So which graph, all the y coordinates are negative? If you said purple, that's correct. All the points in this portion of the graph, the y is -2. So this is a negative interval. I need to look for the values of x that give me y a negative value. So that will be -4, -3. Remember from left to right. Should I include -4 and -3? Of course. Why? Because they have coordinates y that are negative. So I include -4 and -3. And you said, hey, Miss, what about this green graph? Is positive, is negative? It's over the x-axis. Any point on the x-axis, y is 0. 0 is not positive or negative, so I don't include it. So there are two intervals, one positive, one negative for this graph. Let's look at another example. Okay, all positive intervals. Values in the graph that are above 0. The y is positive. Let's write it. Y greater than 0. So I have all this portion is positive until I get to -1. So where does it begin? From left to right, begins at -6. Where does it end the positive? -1. Is -6 included? Let's look at the coordinates. -6, 1. This is the coordinate of the point. 1 is positive. Of course I have to include it because they want positive y's. Now, what about -1? Should I include -1? This is -1, 0. No. Why not? Because 0 is not positive, no negative. So that's my positive interval. Any negative? Let me erase. Negative is below 0. below 0. What part of the graph I have below 0? Okay, I see that starting at -1, all this is negative until I get to this point. So beginning, comma, end from left to right. Remember, from left to right, the domain. So it begins at -1. Where did it stop being negative? It stopped being negative at 2. 2, should I include positive 2? Let's see. This is 2, -3. Yes, I should include it because the y is negative. Should I include -1? No. What is the reason? 0 is not negative, so this is my negative interval. I hope this helps you.